I am sort of a twin. So there's twins, those are born on the same day. Sometimes they're identical, sometimes they're fraternal. Then there's the Irish twins, two kids that were born with less than a year from each other. So I know my last name's McKinney, but we're actually probably 7/8 German. So and my brother was born 13 months after me, so I call us German twins. Pretty close. And we did. We grew up as twins. We were pretty much the same size. We did a lot of stuff together. Yes, there are pictures of us dressed up the same, cute little boys. One of the memories I have with him that's a little bit different than the other two brothers that are younger than the two of us was when we started baseball season. We, very much unlike this modern day, first of all, we're playing at these ball fields that would be about the equivalent of the distance from here over to those ball fields at Spencer Park. And we walked to practice in all of our games together. No adults, no parents, no car rides, no spectators in the bleachers, not very much, because there was two younger brothers that my mom was taking care of and my dad was at work or they were busy with other things. Usually I was either playing shortstop while my brother was pitching or I was pitching while he was playing shortstop. But that was something we did together. It was something we actually had to do together, not just because we were walking a little bit of a distance and needed a buddy just to kind of watch each other. But I think the thing I remember is, even though I was a year older, I didn't start playing baseball until he started playing baseball. I didn't start the year early by myself. We were baseball twins because we had to do things together. Thomas called Didymus. Didymus means twin. Thomas comes up in John's Gospel 3 times. This is the last time he comes up. He comes up earlier. He's called Thomas, called Didymus. He's referred to that the first time we meet him, around that time of Lazarus. And Jesus decides to go in and he says, "Let us go and die with him." And then the other time that he shows up in John's Gospel, Jesus is going through this very long kind of farewell at the Last Supper. And he says, "Where I'm going, you will know the way." And Thomas says, "We don't know where you're going. How can we know the way? Let us go and die with him. But we don't know the way." And then he's like, "What is this? Jesus appearing in your midst? I'm not going to believe that until I not just see him, but touch him." Thomas, called Didymus, the twin. We never meet his twin. We don't know if he's an identical twin, a fraternal twin, an Irish twin, a German twin, a baseball twin. We don't know. Maybe it's because each one of us is his twin. Each one of us is walking along with our twin together. First and foremost, that journey leads to Jerusalem. Let us go and die with Jesus. Even though we don't really seem to know oftentimes where we're going or really know the way. And then we're even not sure we believe. This is part of what it means for us to be Christians, especially to our neophytes. We have, how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 of our newly baptized. We have one of our newly Catholic, just in our midst here. A couple other ones still on the way. It's not something you do on your own. Do you ever think of Mass as a place kind of like that upper room where they were in, and we're kind of locked in here? And we always like to think, well, we're believers, so we don't have fear. And yet, there's a lot of things going on in our lives all the time. We're always dealing with fear. And so we come together, in some ways, as a fearful people, with all of our other twins. And then Jesus comes in our midst in this Eucharist and says, "Peace be with you." And then he says, "I've got some work for you to do. Whatever you forgive here on earth will be forgiven in heaven." And yeah, there's the retaining thing, but really, is that what the church wants to do, is retain people's sins? I don't think so. To go out. And part of what we share is the divine mercy of our Lord Jesus Christ. And that's hard work, and we should never do it alone. We first learn that mercy from each other, and then we share it with the world. This means that part of what it means to be a twin is that we have that support of each other. It's the beauty of a Christian marriage. It's kind of the twin you've picked and can go out and share God's love and his mercy. And we just kind of feed off each other. That's why there is this beautiful timing of Pope Francis, who barely gets himself out, wasn't really supposed to be going out in the public very much last week during Holy Week. He couldn't help himself. He had to go out and make the blessing on Easter Sunday, and to no one's surprise, he dies at the beginning of the Easter octave. And today, the 7th of the 8 days of the Easter octave, was his funeral and burial. Perfect timing, huh? And a great reminder, since he was the one that preached over and over again the mercy of the Lord, remember we had this whole year of mercy, because he wanted to emphasize this is core to the gospel. Sometimes we lose our perspective on that, and especially living that out and sharing that with others. It was that, and the other theme that he would constantly invite us to from the very beginning. He even had a whole kind of vision plan. It was called the joy of the gospel. And what a great combination. The mercy of God shared with joy. When Thomas, our twin, recognizes who Jesus is, he basically says the same words as John started the gospel when the Word was made flesh. My Lord and my God. Let's think of Pope Francis as another one of our twins. And as we think of his ministry and his legacy, to find our fellow twins, to not be afraid to continue to be open to God's mercy in our life, and then to share it with joy with others. Because the whole purpose of Jesus' resurrection and going into this fearful crowd like he comes into us is not that we can just be comfortable in that locked room, but to go out and share the good news. So we share the good news of God's mercy, and we do so with joy. Fellow twins, we don't have to do that alone. And as we do so then, even though we have not seen, we do indeed believe. And we go out and invite others to see what we see.